Well, this was an act of war. The Americans killed a high-ranking Iranian official, a number of his colleagues, and also, I should add and stress, a high-ranking Iraqi military official. Both war heroes, both responsible for defeating ISIS in Iraq. And General Soleimani, when the Americans and their allies were bringing in tens of thousands of foreign fighters into Syria, extremists with the Wahhabi ideology, in order to undermine Syria and to destroy Syria, he, after the tens of thousands of troops had been brought in, began a defense of the capital and helped push back these Western and Saudi and foreign-backed extremists. So if it wasn't for General Soleimani, there probably wouldn't be a Syria today, and there would be black flags over Damascus, thanks to the United States and its allies.
And this
And
is
if it
what
wasn't
you
for
hear
General
from the
Soleimani,
other side,
probably
guys.
there wouldn't be an Iraq today. And the capital, over the capital, we would have had the black flags of ISIS. And the Americans know quite well that there will be severe repercussions, not only from Iran, but also from Iraq. Iraqis, except for those Baathists who supported Saddam Hussein and ISIS supporters who are celebrating, the overwhelming majority of Iraqis supports General Soleimani and are grateful to him for helping save the country. And they're very grateful to Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis, their war hero, who too, alongside General Soleimani, pushed back the forces of death and extremism.
Now, the Pentagon claims this airstrike was a defensive action to defend American interests in the region. Why do you think the US went this far, killing a foreign general in a foreign country?
Yes, the invasion of Afghanistan was in defense of the United States. The invasion of Iraq was in defense of the United States. The plunder of Libya was in defense of the United States. The destruction of Yemen is in the defense of the United States. Wherever the United States goes and destroys, it's all to defend democracy and freedom and the American people, which is all nonsense.
This is what you hear from the barking dogs from the other side, guys. This guy is from Tehran over there, and every time I've ever heard him, he's barked the same story. Bark, 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 bark. Well, the puppies got slapped. They're going to have to deal with it. As far as an act of war, everything they've done in the past few years has been an act of war too.
The Iraqis resisted the Americans and they had to leave. They blamed Iran. They deny the Iraqi people agency. This is the language of empire. This is the language of a racist, Eurocentric heritage that we've
we don't hear enough of that from fake news
that existed in the 19th and 20th century to justify hegemony, plunder, death, and destruction.
Oh my gosh, he had to dig deep today for this one, guys.
Regimes and their media, they call the Syrians freedom fighters, but we all knew that they were funding ISIS, what later became ISIS. The evidence is all coming out now, just like the false flag operation, the so-called chemical attacks in Syria. All of this is coming out. So General Soleimani, who helped preserve these
Did you hear what he said? The F word, guys?
According to the Western narrative. And
they would never do nothing like that.
Continue to occupy the country and disregard the sovereignty of the country. They bombed Iraqi armed forces, even though the prime minister told them not to do so. They disregard sovereignty. They disregard the government. They disregard the people of Iraq. Their utter arrogant behavior has made the whole region outraged, and then they wonder why people hate America.
There's been a response from the Iraqi Prime Minister. It's been one of condemnation. He's called the deadly US strike aggression. How do you think it will affect relations between Baghdad and Washington?
They'll be just fine, guys.
I think the Iraqi population will be outraged. I think that the US troops in Iraq are no longer safe. I don't think that the American presence in Iraq will be sustainable. And I think the American presence in Syria won't, as a result, be sustainable. And I also think that foreign nationals should leave the Persian Gulf region. Regimes like the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, which are in the American camp, I don't think are safe places to be at the moment. If I was
Do you
a
hear
US
that?
national, I
They're
would
making
leave as soon
threats
as possible.
towards other
Well,
And Iraq
countries
as
right
well.
now,
I would
guys.
definitely leave
That's
Iraq.
what they're doing. This is what
Iran,
comes out.
as we know, is
And
back
believe me,
to
he is
revenge
a
the assassination.
spokesman
So what do you
for
expect to happen
the
next?
Supreme Leader. He's one of them.
Well, imagine if the Americans had assassinated the senior commander of the Russian army. What response would come from Moscow? The Americans will pay a heavy price. And not only have the Americans given the Iranians the right to retaliate, but they've united the country. The whole of Iranian society is now united against the United States, and they've united Iraqi society. Now all the major political parties that have been bickering in Iraq are all condemning the United States.
And that's not true, because I just watched a video prior to this to where they were dancing in the streets and they were happy that he was gone.
The Americans had almost 200,000 people in Iraq during the height of their illegal occupation. They're not going to be able to sustain their occupation with 10,000.
But you had to hear this side, guys, so you knew, again, what the barking dogs were going to bark.
And their presence in this region will come to an end. They don't have the ability to wage a war against the people of Yemen, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan simultaneously. It's just not doable for the United States. The United States is a regime on the relative decline. In fact, I think it's
Here we go.
That even the opponents of Trump actually pushed him into this. I mean, this may sound conspiratorial, but it is so foolish and idiotic, and so obviously against U.S. interests, that it is possible that they are fearful that he'll be reelected, so they made him make this foolish decision. I have no idea what goes on in Washington, but even the mouthpiece of the deep state.
Oh my God! Come on, guys, you gotta laugh at this.
Are saying that this is an extraordinarily foolish move that's been. People like Fareed Zakaria, a mouthpiece of the establishment, they're saying this was a foolish move by the American regime.
It was foolish for you guys to make the moves you've been making for the last 2 years.
Saeed Mohammed Randi, politics professor at the University of Tehran, thank you for your time. Now, several countries have condemned the Turkish parliament's decision to send troops to Libya. There's deep concern from Israel, Greece and Cyprus over a possible escalation of...
I just had to bring that out to you guys so you could hear the other side, because you got to hear the barking dogs from that side. So that's what you're going to hear. They're going to threaten other countries now. They're going to try to retaliate. We knew this is where it was going to go, but now we know for sure. So with that being said, I'll be bringing you all the lip service from the other side and the facts from the people that know it, which are your real newscasters and truth tellers and sayers and patriots on YouTube. And with that being said, remember, healthcare sucks. Over and out, guys. We'll keep you posted.